Yeah, I have shared my screen and started the recording session. Okay, so in last class we have discussed about what are the requirement we have discussed: post, get, and the get by using the ID and get all users data. So this thing is clear. Get the users using the ID means you can fetch the individual data. Which data you want, you have to pass the unique ID, the primary key there. After that you can fetch that data. So who is deciding like what ID you have to pass? How, can I pass the name here also or not? No, if your name should be duplicate, right? But the ID which is created by the server, it should be unique. Okay, and this thing is decided by the client where you have to pass. Okay, and what you have to pass. This thing is not decided by me and you. Okay, so we have the one call get the user ID. After then get all user data. It will fetch all the users data which exist inside this resource. Okay, now we also discuss the query param, the query param requirement. So you can see this is the query param requirement. Okay, I think this was already yesterday I have created. No. Okay, let me clear then. Let me create then. I have cleaned all the things quickly. Yesterday I have already explained the query parameters, so I will not explain now. I will just create the request. Okay, so this curly bracket, open curly bracket and close curly bracket means the data should be dynamic, right? This data should be dynamic, right? Guys, you can mute. Okay, so you want to filter out the data. Let's suppose first try to get all the data. After then we will try to find out. Let's suppose Ravi is there. Let's see I'm able to fetch the data or not. Ravi, and let me call. So you can see you are able to fetch the Ravi data, right? And let's suppose you want to add the multiple query, like you want to add the email also or gender also. You have to pass the key. You have to pass the key along with the value, and when you again call that particular API, you will get the response. If both the condition get match, in that case it will give you the response. If not match, then it will not give you the response. It will give you the blank response, right? Using and operator, we can add the, in the interview they will ask you using and, how do you use the multiple query param? Using the and operator, you can see it here. And this name key and the email key get added. If you want to add another status, okay, so I have added the status, and let's suppose the status is inactive. I'm passing the inactive. Okay, I have passed the inactive. Can you see it here? Again, using and operator, the next key and value get appended. Okay, so using the AND operator, you can add the multiple query parameter. Okay, so let me give some name here, the proper name, naming convention. Get the users data, get the users data using the query param. Clear? And select that collection name where you want to save and click on save. Right? Now we are moving to the next requirement, that is the
So because
Patch.
here only and
Yeah.
operator, right? Like or we can't use, right? In
No,
this
no,
one.
no. That is not defined. Okay, that is not defined in the Postman actually, and I think yeah, that is not defined actually. Even I have not seen how you can use the or operator. You have to use the and operator basically. Right. Yeah. If in some of the case, in some of the requirement, if developer not using the query param, not using the query param, you can apply the or operator. If you are using the query param, then you have to use the and operator. You can append using the and. Okay, only and is there, right? But let's suppose in some of the case, in some of the companies, the developer, the client requirement is they want to apply the or operator, right? The or operator. So what they will do, they will use the get method. Inside they will use the body, and inside they will define some property, right? Where they will apply the condition of or. Any of the condition will get match, it will display the result. So ma'am, it depends on the requirement. But if you talk about can we use the query in query param, can we use the or parameter? No, we can't. We have to only use and operator, right? And if additionally, if your client want additional this feature, like you want to filter out the result based on the or operator, like if this one is not matched, then please display the result of email id. If any of the condition match, display the result based on that. That condition you want to apply, that implementation want, right? In that case, the client has given the the extra requirement to the developer. What the developer is doing, he is using the taking the help of method. Inside the method, they are passing the proper key and value, right? Based on that, you can apply the or operator, not using the query param. Okay, ma'am?
Okay. 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 So you are telling while sending the request itself, the body part there they can give the condition and they can send it.
Yeah, simply let's suppose you let's suppose this is your filtration, right? This is your filtration you want. Okay, so what you have to do, if developer has implemented, you have to pass the, either if you want to pass single property, single key, then you can pass single. If you want to, if it is not get matched, then display the result based on the email id. If it is not get matched, then display the result if you have passed the another, right? So if developer has implemented this feature in his application server, then you can apply this scenario. Otherwise you can't apply. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Based on the requirement, and developer has implemented the same in that case, generally. Okay, so let me clear this thing. I have cleared. Now moving to the patch method, you can see the our next requirement is the patch. Here you can see the patch method, right? So this is the URL of the patch. So again, you can see it here, double curly bracket and close curly bracket. So what it means, the dynamic value, right guys? This is not a static, right? In the real time you will see this type of symbol, the open curly bracket and close curly bracket in the URL or in the body, right? That means that is the dynamic, which you have to get it from the somewhere and you have to pass it here. Okay, this is not the static value. So copy this URL, and you can see in the description, they have, the client has added the description. It update the data using the user ID. Okay, so I will copy this thing, copy this URL. Let me copy this URL. I have copied this URL, and I have created going to create the new request. And what is the method here? The patch. go and select the patch. I have selected the patch, pass the URL. Now tell me guys, what user ID I have to pass it here? What user ID I have to pass it here?
The ID, ID of the user that we created.
The ID of the user which you want to update, right? It's not only newly created. If you want to update the existing, then you can also. Okay, so the ID of the user which you want to update. Okay, let's suppose this is the created user, and let me create the user Rahul. Let me change the name as a Mayank. Okay, and let me change the email ID Mayank at 123 something like that, and create. So you can see it here 3401. Okay, 3401. So I will go here and pass that ID here. Right, 3401. Okay, now it again asking you have to pass the body. You can see the client has given me the body, request body, right? If you want to pass the request body, then what option you have to select? Body, and then raw, raw, right? And then what is the type? JSON. What is the type? JSON. So go and select the JSON type, right? And copy the request body. What is your request body? So this is your request body, and pass it here, and pass it here, right? Now let's suppose you have created the data Mayank, right? Let me copy this thing. Let me copy this thing here and pass it here, right? And pass it here. Okay, I have passed it here. Now you want to update the Mayank email ID 9876, and you want to change the status as a active. You change the status as a active. Okay, so tell me how this call, internally, how the data will get updated. Anyone can explain me how the server will connect, and how it will find, and how it will update the data?
So first it will look for the URL where it is hosted, that is goras.co.in public v1, and it
Exactly.
will look for the user resources that um, user ID which we given.
Okay, so first it will check your base URL. When I connect with the server, when I click on send, it will first go and check your base URL. Is base URL is correct or not? So it will connect to the server, right? After that, it will check the resource, what resource we are using, because inside the server we have the multiple resource, we have the multiple functionality, and each functionality we have the separate resource, right? So it will check what resource user is passing here. So give me a second here. So it will check the resource. After that, inside that resource, we have the multiple data, right? We have the bulk of data, right? They are Mohan, Mayank, Rahul, Priya, Anjali. There are a lot of datas are there inside the users. Lot of datas are created, right? If you can't specify the user ID of that user, can server will find? No, server will not find. So what happened? You have to pass the ID, the unique ID. Then server will easily find that which user you want to update. So let's suppose you open the account into the State Bank of India. You are asking to the bank employee, please update my email ID. Okay, and update my email ID and PAN number. So tell me, is bank employee directly go and update your email ID and PAN number?
No, he will ask for the account ID or the phone number.
He will ask you what is your application ID, what is your customer ID, what is your user ID, something like that, which is the unique, which we have the bank employee has provided, right? Okay, so the same thing here. We have to ask to the server then which particular user you want to update, right? So you have to pass the ID of that user. Okay, so you have passed the ID here, right? And which data you want to update? You want to update. So you want to update name, Mayank, email ID, gender, status. So you have changed the email ID and status as active. So when you connect this call, okay, authorization fail. Let me pass the token, bearer token. I have passed the token. Now you can see data get updated. So guys, tell me, when you successfully updated your data, means your the bank employee has successfully updated your data. After updating your email ID and the PAN number, is the bank employee providing the new customer ID, new application ID,
No,
or same?
same it will.
Everyone agree with this point?
Yes.
Yes, it will be same.
So you can see it here. When you are updating the data, server will provide the same ID to you, which you have passed here, 3401. Can you see it here? The ID is 3401, right?
Yes.
Okay, so server will provide the same ID. Now, after updating the data, I told you that how you can verify the same data. You have to use the get call, right? So what you have to do, go to the get by user ID, pass. So can I, if I call this method, resource is not found. Why? When I'm calling to get the user ID, resource is not found. Why I'm getting this error message? Tell me what mistake I'm doing here. I'm using
That
the get
user
call.
ID, user
Do not
ID
pass
is
the same user ID.
same user ID. The user ID is
Different
different.
user ID.
Okay, so the data which we have updated, that user ID is different. Exactly 3401. I have to pass that user ID 3401. I have passed that user ID. Now you can see you have updated the Mayank email ID 9876 and the status as active. So can you see it here? Data get updated successfully. Can I say like that? Data is done successfully updated, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
First, the ID gets changed.
Where 3401? It's same, no?
Okay.
So because
Okay.
every time we use patch for updating, right? For updating
Yes.
all the
If you want to update the data, you have to use the patch method, and we have also the put method, and we have also post method, but I have not explained you. I told you that using the post method we can only create the data, but using the post method we can also update the data, but there is different way to update. That I will explain you. Okay.
put
Okay.
is used for what? Right.
I will explain you, sir. Don't worry. If you, when I complete this topic, if you have any query regarding put, get, patch, and delete, then ask me. Because these five methods are very, very important method which is used in the REST API. If you can't understand this stuff, the five method, you can't do your work very easily. Even if you can't give the answer of this, if the interviewer asks you, then you know interview directly reject you, right? So this thing is very important. I will explain you. Okay, first try to understand the mapping. Okay.
Getting an unexpected token error when I upgrade.
Please pass the authorization.
Okay.
Guys, you can mute. Please pass the authorization. Okay. So where I was, yeah, using the patch method, you are able to update the data. So this requirement you have mapped successfully, right? You can verify the response. You can match the response. It looks like similar or not. Okay. Now, let me save this response. Update the users. Update the users data using the patch. Okay. Okay. Now let me clear all this thing. Clear. Now we have next requirement, that is the put method. Try to understand only how we can map. Okay. So using put method, let's try to map. So I have used this URL, right? And I'm using the put method. You can see it here, put method, right? And you can see update and replace the data using the user ID. Okay, what user ID I have to pass? 3410. Okay, and you have to pass this thing in the body. Okay, I have passed this thing in the body. Go and select the JSON. You can see JSON type is there. Go and select the JSON and pass. Okay, so let me remove this thing. Guys, you can mute, please. Okay, sorry. So using you map the put method, right? Now using put method, let's suppose you want to again update the data. So what data I have used here? Yeah, this one data. Okay, so I will go and pass it here. Okay, now you want to update the data. Let's suppose I want to make it as a inactive. Okay, inactive 3410. Let's call. Resource not found.
3401 it is.
3401. Okay. So you can see it here. If ID is not exist, server will return the error message. That particular ID is not found in the server. Okay. Authorization failed. Let me pass go to and bearer token and select. So you can see it here, guys. The status get updated. Inactive. And if you go and use the get the user ID and check, you can see it here inactive. Right. So we have right now I am not explaining the concept of put, only I have mapped the things. Okay. In next requirement, I will explain the things in detail. Okay. So you can see up to the put you have map everything, put, patch method, get method, again get method, get by user ID, get all data, right? You have used the post method. Now there is one method. Let me save control S, and what it basically update the users data, give some proper naming convention using put, okay, using put, okay, and save it. I have saved. So you can see I have saved the APIs. Okay, save the request. What are the
Yes.
action we have? We have saved all the things. Okay.
Sir,
Now, hello.
because Srinidhi here. Sir, actually, you are done the update in put method also and patch method also. Like in one method is enough, right? Like patch method. Why we have to do that in put method also?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is
I will
the-
explain you, sir. Don't worry. I will explain you when I come to the next requirement sheet. In that requirement sheet, I will explain you. Okay. Because right now I can't explain you because this application is not implemented in such a way that so that it will accept the put scenario. Put scenario means put method. Like in the put method, we can update also, we can the replace also. So replacing concept is not applicable for this, for this server actually. So that's why I can't show you right now. So when we come to the next requirement, in that next requirement, I will differentiate all the things. Okay. Is that fine, sir?
Yes, I think as of now both the method have.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Just now only understand the mapping, how we can map the thing. Okay. And the using put method also we can update, using patch method also we can update, right? And when we come to the next requirement, I will explain you the things, how the things are different, why we are using the put and patch and the post. Okay. Now we have one method, that is the delete method, right? So let's suppose you open the account in the State Bank of India, and after some days you realize that you want to close the account. You want to close your account. So what the employer will do, they will delete your account, right? So they will call in the backend internally, it called to the delete method, right? So this is the delete method I have selected, right? And you have to ask to the server which particular ID you want to delete, which particular user's data you want to delete. You have to pass the user ID of that user. Okay, and you will select the bearer token and click on send. You can see you will get the error, you will get the status code as 204 no content, and in the response it is blank response. So in your mind you have the question why it is blank. So it is the as per the company requirement, as per the this application. Some of the company, in some of the client, they will return some message that the user's data is successfully get deleted. Some of the client, they don't want to return some any message. With the status code, they will identify the data is deleted successfully or not. Okay. Now let me save this thing. Delete the users data. Delete the users data. You have deleted the data, right? Now after deleting data, your job is completed, guys.
No, you have to verify once.
You have to verify that data is successfully deleted or not, right? So we were using 3401 ID, right? So let me call. Can you see it here? 404 not found. Can you see the message? Earlier it was giving you the response, right? Now after deleting the data, you can't see the response. Agree? Agree, guys?
Yes, yes.
Why data is not displaying here? Why it is showing resource not found?
Because we deleted the record using the delete request.
Yes, we have deleted our data. That's why. So guys, like that, you can map the requirement. This is the one way which you will get this requirement from the client. And this is the very simple way. They will define all the things. You have to just copy the things. You have to just map the thing. Okay. Now, I have already shared you this document. You can go and map the thing. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the another mapping sheet which looks like very similar in the real time requirement. This one. This requirement sheet we will discuss. Okay. Now for that, this to test this requirement, we have to first create the JSON server, because this is my requirement and this requirement is in your local server, in your JSON server. For that you have to create the JSON server, right? So guys, first check the node version npm-v and install the npm install -g json -server. If you have already installed this command into your machine, do not run this again. Otherwise, it will create multiple, you will face issue. One time setup this one, the npm install. And when you start your class, when you start doing the practice, you have to only start your server, not installation. Only you have to install the server. So guys, we are creating this JSON server to do the practice, because if we use any free version of API, it will restrict you. Right, you can't create the user, you can't properly test the scenario. Okay, that's why we are creating this JSON server in your local machine, so that you can do as much you can do the practice. If you want to create the data 100, 200, 300, it's up to you only. It will only consume your only local memory space, right? So there is no restriction to create the data. You can create the data, you can perform the action, whatever the action you can do. So that's why we are going to create this JSON server into your local machine. Do not get confused that this thing we have to do in the real time. This thing you don't have to do in the real time. This thing is done by your developer. By your developer. Clear? Any query? Why we are using this JSON server? Clear, guys? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So
Vikas.
is
Yes,
it clear
Vikas.
like why we are going to create the JSON server?
Yes, Vikash, we got it.
Okay. So in the real time, I'm again repeating the same thing. In the real time, you don't have to create. You don't have to start the server. This is for only practice purpose, so that you can do the practice as much you can. Because this is your local server. This is your JSON server. So no one stop you to do the practice. Okay, that's why we are creating this JSON server. Okay, so first thing you have to check the npm version. I have already let me open the command prompt and go to the cmd and type npm -v. You will get the latest version. In my case, I am using 6.4.0. Right? 6.14.10. And what is the node version? Node -v 14.15.6. So guys, everyone check this version in your machine, npm version and node version. Right? After that, you have to install the JSON server. So in my case, I have already installed the JSON server into my machine. So what I will do here, this is your JSON. Let me delete. I am going to delete my JSON server. I have deleted my JSON server. I will again go and install. Okay. So at your end, if you have installed, do not delete. Do not delete. Okay. So this is at the fresh level I am explaining you. Okay. So let me copy this command. Let me copy this command quickly. I have copied this command and passed the here. So it will start installing the JSON server. First check the npm version, node version. If both are correct, right, you can see the version. After that, install the JSON server. If you have already installed, do not install in your machine. Just wait and watch.
One thing I want to ask.
Yeah, sir.
Because in this we need to set environmental variables also, like
No, don't. No. So after installing the JSON server, npm install -g JSON server, right? So run this command. Why we are running this command? To start the server, because you have to use that server for the testing perspective. So you have to start your server in the real time. Also, developer has to start the server. Okay. So I will start this server. I will hit. Can you see when I enter this command, right, my server will get started. So you can see it here, the home URL. So this is your base URL. You can use this base URL. Let me copy this base URL, go to the Google Chrome, go to the Google Chrome, go to the Google Chrome, hit this URL, you will see this message. Congratulations, you are successfully running your JSON server. And these all are the resource inside the JSON server. Right? Now, if you want to check where your db.json server get created, so go to this directory, see user admin. In your case, this directory name should be different. So follow this directory name, go to that directory, see users admin. In your case, your directory would be the different. You can see it here, db file is there. Can you see it here, guys? Here, db file get created. So extension is JSON. This is the JSON file, db.json file, right? if you open this file, you can see it here. By default, server will create 3 resources for post, comment, and profile. Post, comment, and profile. So everyone, please go and check db.json file in your machine.
Because
At
I'm getting
this
some
lo-
warning message. Can I share my screen and
yeah.
Because but yesterday already we created all this, right? Again, can we do it in the CMD prompt?
Again, you have to only start the server, not
Okay.
installation. You have to start the server only. And do not close the command prompt after starting the server if you are doing the testing using this service URL. Otherwise, you will not get the response. Okay. So whoever already installed yesterday, please only start the server. Only start the server. Yeah.
you can see my
Yeah, ma'am.
yeah,
Yeah, I can.
one message I'm getting. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay, fine. Now you can install, now you can run the command to start the server. Now you can run the command to start the server.
What is the command?
Right click and paste. Right click and paste. Yeah, enter. Enter. You are getting this error message, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you go to the file C users GB file GB5313, this directory? Go to this directory. C users, yes. Go to this directory. C users, go, and GB531, yeah, go. And can you see DB file here? db.json file. Scroll down, go down. No, I think clear this thing. Go and manually check the db.json or not. Clear this thing. Scroll down.
No, I cannot see DB.
No, okay. In the system, you can type command and right click on the administrator and open the command prompt using the administrator role. Run as administrator.
Yeah.
Now run the command, installation command.
To start the server or installation?
Yeah, to installation. The installation is not done completed at Purell. So npm install -z JSON server. Yeah, copy the command. R is missing, ma'am. Copy the R as well. Yeah, yeah. Enter.
Because the DB.json should be opened as a notepad, is it?
Yeah, it should be in JSON file, and you can open as a notepad. And run the command to start the server. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
I think she lost the connection.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear her.
Can you type here npm minus v? Or node minus v? Okay. Ma'am, can you do the one thing? Uninstall this node version and install the latest version of node. Can
Mine
you
is
do that?
Windows 7. Yesterday I installed this V14. I showed you after the class. So it was giving me,
Okay, okay,
so
okay.
that's why I downloaded for Windows 7 this version.
Okay, ma'am. I have to check like what is the. I think it should be different way in the Windows 7 how you can run the JSON file. So after the class, you can connect with me. I will help you. Okay.
Okay.
It will take some time to resolve. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So let me share my screen quickly.
Vikas sir,
Yeah, yeah.
hello. That
Yes,
JSON
sir.
is open only in the notepad, or if any other things like Visual Studio or anything is already there in my system, it will open in that.
Yes, you can also open there also Visual Code Studio also,
Okay,
but
because
do
it
not
is
change the extension of the file. Okay.
okay. Okay, yeah.
Okay. You can also open in the Notepad++, Notepad or Visual Code Studio. Okay, you can open.
Okay.
No problem. Okay, so you will see this file. You will see this file. Right. So this is your now JSON server where you can do the action. So let me clear this thing. Let me close the tab. Let me close the tab. So whenever you will start working, please start this server using this command. Do not install the npm JSON server again and again. This is one time setup. Okay, please do it only one. Okay, and this thing, the start your server, this you have to do when you start doing the testing. Okay, so when you see there are three resource. So let me now you can see it here. This is the resource URL. This is the resource URL. So what I am doing here, what I am doing here, I will go and copy the resource URL. I have copied the resource URL, right? And when I use the send, can you see that, guys? Whatever the data inside your db.json file for the post resource, can you see you are able to fetch the data? ID1, title and author, type code. Can you see the same data here?
Yes, Vikas.
Right. So using the get call, you are able to fetch the data. Right. So let's suppose you want to fetch individual data. So how you can tell me?
Oh, get with the user ID.
Pass the user ID in the URL. So what is the user ID here? 1. So I will pass 1 and click on send. So you can see simple data will get fetched. Okay. So I will use the post method to create the data, and let's see we are able to create the data or not inside the server which you have created. Okay, select the JSON because the format should be in the JSON. Okay, pass the URL where you want to create the data. I want to create the data inside the post resource. Right now, I have removed the ID because I don't want to pass the ID. ID is created by the server. The title, let's suppose I am giving the title title is API textbook, API textbook, and author is me, Vikas. Okay, API textbook and author is Vikas. Okay, I click on this send. Can you see it here? ID gets generated for this particular titles and the author, and you will the data is successfully get created. You can see the status as a 201. The status as a 201. Guys, one thing always remember, when anything is successfully created, deleted, or fetch, you will get the 200 series of status code. 200 series of status code. Okay, I will explain you that thing in very detail, right? But always remember, when anything is successfully performed, you will get the 200 series, either 201, 200, or 204. Always remember this thing. So right now 201 created. So that means whenever we are creating any data and it is created successfully, you will get 201 created. Okay, no worry, only understand the 20 series, right? We have the separate huge topic regarding the status code. If you go down here, you can see the huge topic of the status code. You can see it here. Okay.
Sir, what is the
So,
status code of 400?
sorry,
400 series.
come again, sir.
400 series. What is the status code?
400 series. 400 series mean client error. 400. There are three types of status code. We have success, client error, and server error. In the success error, 200 series, client error 400 series, 5 error, client error 500 series. Clear? So right now we are not going to discuss all the things. First we will discuss the basic concept, how we can map, how we can test. After then we can move to that topic. Okay.
Can
fine.
you API document, please?
Yeah, I think I have already shared. I will again share, no problem.
Oh.
Vikas,
So-
while working on the server, we should keep this command prompt open always.
Yes.
Oh, we
Because
should never-
you have to start the server always, and you have to open this command prompt. Okay. If you close the command prompt, server will get stopped.
Okay. Okay. Until our action is done in Postman, it should kept open, right? Okay.
Yes. Okay, guys, you can mute, please. Now you have created the data successfully, right? Now you can see it here. If you go into the get method and call, can you see it here? Data get created or not? Created, right, guys?
Yes, Vikas. Yes.
Now when you go and check that db.json file, this db.json file, right? When I go and check, go to here, open this file. My data is not get created here. What happened? Data should be also there. db.json file, Vikas author. Let me clear this thing. Let me refresh. Let me again. Okay, let me again create one new data. Actually, data should get created. API textbook 1, 2, and author is Vikas. Okay, Vikas, and let me create the data. What mistake we are doing here? ID is 2. We are passing the titles. We are passing the titles, author also. Everything is correct. Everything is correct. Let me again call. Yeah, 3 get created, right? And let me call the get method. Okay, 3 data we have, 1, 2, and 3, right? 3 data get created, right? Now I will go to dv.json file and check the 3 data are there. Yeah, you can see it here. Actually, due to the server issue, it was slow actually. Now you can see whatever the data we have created. Can you see that data here? The data get created into your JSON server in the backend. Can you see it here, guys?
Yes.
Right? So whatever the data, whatever the call we are doing, that particular data get created inside your server, inside that particular resource. Can you see it here? I created the data inside the post. So it created inside the post, not in the comment and in the profile. It is in the profile or comment, or it is in the post. It is in the post, right? Because you have passed the post here. Right. So guys, this thing is not the real time data. This is the dummy data which your JSON server has provided. Okay, so we will not use this data for the practice purpose. This is the simple data, very simple data which is provided by your JSON server. So guys, tell me, this time your key and value is different. Your resource is different.
Yes.
Right. So earlier we were using some different resource here in this requirement. In this requirement, we have users and we have different key and value, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what I'm trying to say, project to project, your resource, your keys and values, your property will get changed, right? Agree?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why where it is your file. Yeah, you can see it here. In this project, your resource get changed. Comment and the profile, the property, the key and value is different. So do not try to understand like what is author and how the author is coming. This is already defined. This is your JSON schema that is defined by your developer, which we have to follow. Okay,
Resource
simple style.
and endpoint are same, because
Sorry.
resource and endpoint
Yeah, resource and endpoint
are same.
are same.
Yeah. Like after the slash, we are
How?
saying these are resources, and endpoint are also like after the slash, we are copying the endpoint. Is that same thing?
I can't understand, ma'am. Where you are comparing the things from, which you are comparing?
Like we say
Okay,
get
this is the
endpoint.
URL.
Yeah. So from after
Mm-hmm.
slash, these are the resources, and when we say endpoint also, so from first
Mm-hmm.
slash we are copying means everything
Endpoint
after.
means request means endpoint. Sometimes we are also asking request as a endpoint as a request. You can simply understand. The
This fully is a endpoint.
request is an yeah. This is one endpoint. This is one get endpoint. This is post endpoint. This is get endpoint. This is the endpoint to get all user data. This is the endpoint for get all query parameter. This is the endpoint to update the data. And you can say this is also the request or endpoint. Both are same. Okay. Clear? Clear, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. So this thing is the not the real time data, right? This is, you can see there is one or two property how you can do the practice. So what you will do here, I will provide you one real time data which you have to practice. Yes, this is the real time data which you have to practice. Okay, employee resource, where you are trying to create the employee first name, prefix, surname, birth surname, email ID of employee, the gender, the type, date of birth of the employee, marital status, either divorced or not, divorce date, smoker, nationalities, the address of the employer, the phone numbers and the IDs, right? So we have multiple resource in that, the income resource, right? So we will use this requirement. Okay, so I will copy this JSON object, and where is your db.json file, paste the things here, replace the things here, Control A and Control V. Replace the default dummy data with the real-time data in db.json file. So I will provide you this JSON object, copy the data from the JSON object, Control A, Control C, and replace the file here in db.json file and save it. After saving, close the window, close your server. You can see it here. Close the command prompt also. After closing the command prompt, you can open the new command. And what is the command to start the server? Let me copy. I also don't have remember actually. This is the command, right? You will copy this command, go to the command prompt, paste it here and start the server. Now guys, tell me the resource here.
Employees and incomes.
So earlier it was post, comment and profile, right? But by default, when we created the JSON server, it is by default provided, right? But that was not the real time scenario. So I have replaced that data with my data with the real time scenario, right? So I will provide you this JSON object file. You can replace that file. You can copy the all the resource from there and paste it into your db.json and save it. And again, start your server. Clear? Any doubts?
Yes, clear, Vikas.
Okay. So do not append the JSON into the db.json file. I am asking replace the whole thing with the new JSON object. Otherwise, you will get the error. Now, guys, if you are trying to create the URL, this is your resource. Let me copy the resource and use the get method. Let me copy. And let me pass it here. I'm using the get call, and guys, can you see the data? I'm able to fetch the data successfully from the server, from the employees, right? You can see the employees data. Can you see it here? How many data is created? It will get all fetched. 1 data, 2 data, 3 data, 4 data are created. You are able to fetch. First name Rahul test. Second data Payal. Third data Anjali. Fourth data Mayank. Right. So in tomorrow class, we will discuss this thing in detail regarding all the method get, put, patch, delete with differentiation, how it is different from one each other, all the detail. After that, we will discuss this requirement, this mapping requirement. Okay. Clear, guys?
Yes. Because if class is over, then can I also discuss my issue? Because I'm not getting any node or npm command recognized by
Okay,
someone.
okay. Yeah, the class is already over. If you have any query, then you can discuss. Yeah.
I
Thank you.
can share